Hello everybody, welcome to my Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm going to call this just a low-level power-up video. What I actually did here was, basically, I went to Igros Castle, and then I haven't actually done any more of the storyline battles, and I've just been kind of cruising back and forth between, like, Igros Castle and Mandalia Plains. And by doing that, obviously we get into random encounters or random battles, and then I've just been leveling up my characters. Obviously you can see I've put a ton of time into the game already. Now, one of the things I want to mention here, what I want to talk about a little bit is some of my favorite abilities. One of those being Move +3, and that's from the Bard. Keep in mind though that only male characters can be bards. And that is obviously a movement type ability. Speed Save here is a reaction ability that comes from the Archer. I really like that one, as well as Sunken State. That is from the Ninja. And actually what that's going to do is make your character invisible after they take a certain amount or after they take damage. And then the Gain JP Up, as always, another really good, and that's just like a passive, I would say. That's always active. And that is from the Squire job. Some of the other ones I find useful, Chakra from the Monk. That one is going to restore HP and MP. Now, it's pretty weak, to be completely honest, so that one, you know, whether or not you actually find it useful or not, completely up to you, but it can be pretty useful at the beginning of the game where you don't have a whole lot of HP. There are ways to make it stronger, you know, it's based off of your job, as well as I think like your I want to say bravery. Anyways, I kind of want to talk about my setup from here on out. And I'm actually going to go with a bunch of dancers for, I guess, from here until, I don't know, probably until I get some more, I would call them unique characters with some unique jobs. And that's kind of when I think it becomes a little bit more fun. But, you know, with just a couple of generic characters that I picked up from the towns, I'm going to make them, obviously, like I said, into dancers, and they actually will become useful later on for doing some of the propositions. We'll get into that, or I'll do a guide on that a bit later. I don't really, to be honest, I don't find them all that useful, but you know, we'll take care of those eventually. Alright, so I've made all of my dancers actually knights for the time being. I want to level them as knights because knights, as they level, get decent bonuses to their physical attacks, and that'll play well with or synergize well with the dancers and their dance ability. So that's kind of why I'm going with that route. Alright, so anyways, like I said, so we're gonna do a random battle here. Obviously, starting out, this is Mandalia Plains. I don't know as far as, you know, if you want to. So basically your characters will start out at one side of the battlefield, I believe, depending on where they came from. So like if you start at Igros Castle and go down to Mandalia Plains, you'll start out in this area. Conversely, if you start out at Garland Magic City and make your way to Mandalia Plains, you'll actually start in a different spot. Is that all that important? Kinda, sorta, not really. I guess for me and how I'm playing here with all of my dancers, it helps out. I just like the way that the characters are positioned, I guess. But that said, so what I'm gonna actually do here, and kind of what I guess the gist of this setup is going to be. If you didn't know, or if you're not familiar with the dancer job, it affects basically all enemies on the battlefield, no matter what, no matter where they're at, no matter how far away. It will obviously, that dance will affect them. Now, some of the dances are better than others. I've picked only my two favorite ones here. The first one being is this Wiznabus or something like that, and that one's going to do minor damage to everybody, or all the enemies on the screen or on the field, however you want to say that. And then the other one is Slow Dance, and that it won't always hit the enemies, but when it does, it will take one off of their speed. Now, that is incredibly useful, and I would say borderline overpowered, especially when you start stacking your dancers. And what do I mean by that? Basically, speed will determine how often you get turns as well as turn order. And the lower a character's speed, the less often they will get turns, obviously. Or maybe that wasn't obvious, but so not only is basically buffing up your own character speed, so increasing your speed in some way is extremely helpful, but also reducing the speed of enemy characters is also useful. So if you can actually do both at the same time, that's pretty cool. One of the interesting ways that you can actually do that is by having your dancers dance the slow song, and then if you actually have a bard, you can have your bards sing basically the version of the speed dance, which I think is cheer song or something like that. Don't quote me on that one though. Anyways, long story short, there is a bard song that increases the speed of all of your party. Now, much like the dancers version, though, it doesn't always land. So keep that in mind. To be completely honest, it's not one of my favorite, and honestly, I don't really like the bard job all that much. I do like the movement +3, but that's kind of where the usefulness, I would say, of the bard job ends. So yeah, so this is kind of how I like to do it. You can see, obviously, my characters are not doing that much damage, but oftentimes they will be severely crippled by the time they actually get to my characters. So that's kind of how the dancer works out. And then on top of that, you'll notice here eventually, I think an enemy will finally make their way to one of my dancers. And being that I have the reaction ability called Sunken State equipped, again, that is from the ninja. And what that's going to do is actually make your character invisible if they take damage from an attack. Now, that obviously won't always trigger, much like the rest of the reaction type abilities. You know, they aren't always going to trigger for you, but when they do, that character will be invisible and then will not be able to be targeted by the enemy while they remain invisible. Now, if an enemy uses like an area of effect type ability, that still potentially could hit that character, but they can't select them specifically. So how is that useful? Well, the great thing about dancers is once you begin dancing, that's the turn, that's the action, and then basically all you have to do is select wait, and they will keep dancing. Now, the great thing about that is when their turn rolls around and you select that wait command, they won't lose their transparent or invisible status. So what does that mean? Well, once you start dancing, you don't have to stop. You'll turn invisible, and then you can't be targeted anymore. So, to be honest, it's extremely cheap, but it's also kind of fun. So that's kind of how I'm gonna go about things for the time being. So if you keep watching the walkthrough, I will likely have a lot of my characters as dancers for, you know, the next however many battles, up until we start getting some, I would say, unique characters, and then I may switch over. Now, the one weakness to this, though, is actually what you can see right here, and that's that this Quirrell, or whatever this enemy is called, I forget the actual names of those. They'll cast poison on you. Now, unfortunately, with poison, when you end your turn, if you still have the poison status on you, you'll take damage, and that'll actually remove your invisibility. So that's a little bit annoying, but to be honest, that's not really going to affect us for a whole lot of battles. It's just, again, kind of something that you got to deal with. So here I've already got you know, a couple of these enemies are in, actually 3 of them are in the critical status, and it won't be much longer here, and everything is going to be dead. So I don't know. As far as you know, powerful combinations of characters, I would say this is one of them. That's really easy to get right at the beginning of the game. Now, you have to put your work in. Unfortunately, dancers are not easy to come by. There's a lot of classes that you need to, or jobs that you need to level up in order to get to the dancer. So again, you know, I guess in my opinion, the payoff is worth it. But you know, if you don't want to put that kind of time into the game, I completely understand. But I like it. I think that this is really cool. and it's kind of fun, like I said. So oftentimes, you know, you'll start a battle and everything will be dead before they can even get to you. So again, I think it's kind of cool. I like the setup. This is kind of what my battles will probably play out, or they'll play out very similarly from here on out. And you know, like I said, once we get some more like special characters, I would say, then things will change a bit, and I'll probably start swapping those characters in instead. But anyways, I hope this guide was helpful. I'm not sure what else is at the very end here. I'm not going to hang around, I guess, to check it out. But anyways, like I said, hope the guide was helpful, though. If you like this setup, you know, drop a line, you know, leave a comment or something. Tell me what you like about it. Tell me what you hate. But anyways, I hope this guide was helpful. And as always, hope you join me for more videos. All right, thanks for watching.